Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and another video in our clinical pharmacy course. Today I'm going to talk to you about therapeutic drug monitoring, but it's a little bit different today because we're going to talk about antifungals. We're all aware of therapeutic drug monitoring of the commonly monitored drugs like phenytoin, vancomycin, gentamicin, all these drugs. But a few is known about antifungals. Do we monitor them? Do we not monitor them? We're going to learn all about that in today's presentation. And actually, one of our channel followers offered or suggested this. Specifically, they suggested to talk about voriconazole therapeutic drug monitoring, which I really appreciate. Thank you so much for the comment. So instead of talking only about voriconazole, I'm going to talk about all the antifungals in general and which ones do we monitor, which ones do we not monitor. So for those of you who are new on the channel, this channel is all about clinical pharmacy practice. I teach you how to become clinical pharmacists, how to advance your career, and I also teach you how to pass the pharmacist OSCE exam, and there's a whole chapter about immigrating to Canada. So if you're interested about any of these topics, make sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so that you get notified of future videos. Now let's get started with a little bit of introduction about antifungals. Three main classes that we have, the polyenes, the triazoles, and the echinocandins. Some patients of course, could be at high risk of systemic fungal infections, those who are severely immunocompromised per se, those with more bone marrow transplant recipients, or even solid organ transplant patients. All of these are at high risk of serious fungal infections. Therapeutic drug monitoring is an important service for many drugs, and we know that already. However, there is no clinical data from large clinical trials that address its use in every clinical context. And that applies to antifungals. We don't have a huge amount of data from large clinical trials that tells us that all antifungals should be monitored for these indications that we know of as of today. And that's probably why it's not very commonly monitored in practice. And one more thing, antifungal therapeutic drug monitoring is potentially expensive and time-consuming as well. So expect that if you draw a blood level today to do therapeutic drug monitoring, expect that the results might take days to come back. Most of these services are not available at all hospitals, so they might have to send the sample to another hospital or another center to get it analyzed, and then that takes a few days too until you get the results. And that's basically because it requires special testing in the laboratory, and not all laboratories have these fancy testers. Over here, I try to gather almost all the antifungals that we know of and the evidence behind monitoring them. And this was done in the United Kingdom, I believe. Itraconazole, for example, the evidence quality on monitoring itraconazole is moderate for prophylaxis doses, treatment doses, and even to avoid toxicity. The recommendation is strong for prophylaxis and treatment, but weak for toxicity. So basically, they're telling you you don't have to monitor it to avoid toxicity, but they strongly recommend to monitor itraconazole levels if the patient is receiving it for treatment or even for prophylaxis. And voriconazole is next. There's low evidence on prophylactic doses monitoring, but there's a high evidence on treatment doses and also to avoid toxicity. and hence the recommendation is strongly recommend monitoring voriconazole levels if the patient is receiving it for treatment of a fungal infection, and also to avoid toxicity. And you can see here posaconazole has a strong recommendation to monitor it for prophylaxis and treatment, but they do not monitor for toxicity at all. They're against monitoring it for toxicity. Fluconazole, against. We don't do any monitoring for fluconazole. Flucytosin, which is rarely used nowadays for very severe fungal infections. They only have a strong recommendation to avoid toxicity of flucytosin, and a weak recommendation for treatment doses. Echinocandins, the echinocandins have a high and strong against recommendation for all of them, so we don't really monitor micafungin, caspofungin, all these medications, so no monitoring for them. And the last but not least, the polyenes, strong against their monitoring as well, so we don't monitor examples of polyenes are like the amphotericin, for example. That's one of the polyenes. So basically this table here summarizes today's lecture. It tells you basically which ones to monitor, which ones not to monitor, or not to worry about for in terms of toxicity. There are several methods used in the laboratory to measure the serum concentration of a drug, specifically antifungals. And some of these are the bioassay, the HPLC, and the mass spectrometry. I'm not going to go in detail about each and every one of these because that can take a while to talk about, and you're not going to benefit much as pharmacists from these, from explaining these assays. But just so you know, some of them may be not very reliable or interacts with other medications and can cause can give the wrong result or not a very accurate result, and that's why you have to go with a more expensive test, and which may not be available where you work. So always check if the hospital where you work actually offers these services, because if they don't really have a system to measure or to help measure the serum concentration of a drug, let's say voriconazole, we can't measure voriconazole levels. We can draw the blood level, but we don't have any machines or any system to measure the serum concentration. Can they send it to another center and do it or not? If there's no centers around you that can take the sample and analyze the serum concentration, then there's no point from doing the whole monitoring thing. So always check with the laboratory first, and see what options they have. Most probably they can implement a new option for you if this is a serious matter and you really have to monitor serum concentrations. They can actually implement something new that would help in measuring the serum concentration. And as I said before, some therapeutic drug monitoring services are not available. Are only available in specialist centers, so it might not be available in the hospital where you work.